connection to a society here, an organization here, okay? And I feel like it has to do with a conflict of interest. This is what came out first and foremost here, okay? And there could be someone here who's a part of this society or connected to them that's pissed off at this time because there is a paper trail or receipts that date all the way back to the early 2000s. Became a part of an organization here over a few decades ago, that far here. So let's get straight into the energy and see what's going on. Denial, disbelief, refusal of reality here. The reality is someone is a part of a society here, or they have connections here. They work closely with them. Bottom of the deck, I have the cover up man and the clean up woman here, okay? So, you know, with the conflict of interest here, that always tells me that, you know, there's a connection, a relationship, whether it's on an intimate level here. This could be in a professional setting, maybe even having to do with the courts, the government here, where, you know, if two people are in a relationship, or if they're family, blood related relationship here, or they have like a close-knit personal bond, then that will be seen as a conflict of interest in whatever setting that this is here. And the way somebody is coming up here with this piss the hell off here, this could be something that's legal or professional, something surrounding money. And I feel like the conflict of interest is getting exposed here, okay? Individual that they know to monopolize or capitalize on whatever that they do together here, okay? And up here with this piss the hell off here, this could be something that's legal or professional, something surrounding money. And I feel like the conflict of interest is getting exposed here, okay? Like in a professional setting, someone could have been using another individual that they know to monopolize or capitalize on whatever that they do together here, okay? And there could be rules here against that. If this is a legal setting, then like you can't use your cousin that's a lawyer in this type of case. Something like that's going on here. My cousin Vinny, okay? So and this could be these years in particular, like it's exposing way past whatever the situation that has to do with someone in the collective here, okay? Because it's going all the way back to the year 2000 here, okay? So let's just tap to the somebody's gotten exposed. And I feel like, you know, it's like not only are they're unable, geesh, to deny this affiliation anymore. And this could be mad. Somebody's mad. I mean, I don't know, it's like somebody wanted it both ways, because people join societies here for the power, for the resources, for the clout, for the pull, being able to pull strings. But at the same time, they wanted to hide behind it here, okay? So let's see what's going on here. Conflict of interest here, okay? So fan came out here. Ease, balance, flow, rethink your reaction in times of emotional storm. And then success, joy, raise. You'll emerge victorious. Prepare for a grand toast here, okay? So I feel like you do have a win coming here, okay? Balance is required. There's like some companies, they won't hire family members here, or you can't work in the same department here. That's the energy that I'm getting, okay? There's some exposure surrounding somebody's success and victory here. I'm hearing something about it being handed to them here, okay? So this person here, they could be in an emotional storm, okay? Like somebody got put on by a family member, or by a lover, ex-lover, or old colleague here. And this is coming to light here. How someone has emerged successful in the past or in the current energy here, okay? Something may come out that may really, you know, piss you off here, okay? And again, you're being told to like keep your glasses. Success, joy, raise. Child. So somebody was using who they, knew close to them to win, okay, or to get the upper hand in a situation here, child. And Spirit said that is over. Trash can, release, restart, renew. Your hands can't hold new gifts while gripping old trash. Sometimes the kindest choice is to walk away. Somebody's got to walk away here from a partnership, from a job, maybe even from a case here, okay? Child, because a light is being shown on someone's endeavors, how they were getting a win. Okay, wow. Stop before a fool. True satisfaction comes from awareness here. So somebody's better, like, they could be in the energy of savoring the last bite here, because I'm getting something about the physical year. Okay, like this is going to be the last physical year that they eat good off of this connection, something like that, child. I don't know, they got to savor the last bite. Someone here, they couldn't, they were unsatisfiable here, okay? Child. Paper trail receipts, year 2000, high society, money, power, respect. Piss the hell off. And they've gotten very comfortable here, okay? So this person, even though they were dead wrong, they may be very loud about this exposure and change, okay? Which is weird, right? Yeah, the Fool card and the inspiration here, okay? You guys could be getting a new beginning, but it's also a gesture here, okay? Let's see what's going on. This could be an abuse of power here. A new exciting relationship or casual romance, starting a new job, launching a business, a refreshing change at work, impulsive purchases, new financial possibilities. And then we have inspiration, excitement and passion in your love life, flirtation, a romance, and strong attraction, passion for your profession, financial relief, newfound inspiration, and earning money here. I feel like somebody was constantly getting a new beginning, okay? Like with the flu glasses here, people could have been looking at this person like their expertise here, all right? They were looking at this person as a professional. That's why they're having this dynamic growth here, or they're having such success in their field here. It was about connections, okay? And again, look at this Fool energy here. Like somebody here, they were too hype, okay? Greedy. Flu glasses here, their expertise here, all right? They were looking at this person as a professional. That's why they're having this dynamic growth here, or they're having such success in their field here. It was about connections, okay? And again, look at this Fool energy here. Like somebody here, they were too hype, okay? Greedy, okay? Greedy. Too hype, okay? Greedy. Was always in a new energy here, okay? I was looking at something like new money for over 20 years. It's like now people, whether this is you or somebody else, can get a new beginning because somebody here was hogging up everything. Greed, okay? It's like when someone has a personal relationship with a boss here, okay? And they give this person all of the overtime here, okay? So reward fell on paper trail and receipts, you guys. Wow. Look at this, this person was eating here. This is an apple tree. Okay? Investing effort in a relationship, a friendship blossoming into romance, making steady progress towards your career goals, slow and steady investments here. So there is receipts here. Somebody has received intel about these rewards that was going on here. Okay? You get to, like somebody got real greedy and bold. Every month you get to name an employee, like employee of the month here, or you get to give a bonus out to someone here. So it could be a situation where people didn't even know there was a bonus to be given out here, but because this person was eating, it was going to their sister, it was going to their girlfriend here, to a sneaky link here, like somebody was eating here, okay? And there's proof of this, okay? And then strength came out. Yeah, this is how somebody was staying on top. But this was about, keeping their foot on other people's necks here, okay? Because the Fool card and the inspiration, which was the Ace of Wands, okay? And then strength came out. Yeah, this is how somebody was staying on top. But this was about, keeping their foot on other people's necks here, okay? Because I feel like now that this energy is getting exposed, somebody's going to be removed, and other people could have a chance. That's what I'm getting. With a lot of greed going on here, okay? Something about the right hand, right arm, or somebody's right hand man, okay? Somebody's right hand man was eating up all the crops here, okay? Child. Reward and strength. Strong arming the crops from everybody else here. Affinity at the top of the deck. Starting a new relationship, working together as a team. Yeah, a supportive business partnership, balanced finances, financial security, feeling at ease with money. Yeah, this person didn't have to worry about shit here because they had a connection to somebody who was passing something out or dealing the cards per se, okay? They didn't have to worry about a damn thing. 10 people on the team, but it was 2 out of 10 it was actually only a team of 2, okay? That's what I'm getting. Affinity, they felt like something was never going to end. Look, these celebrations and flute glasses, okay? Somebody could have went out, somebody could be a drinker here, but a lot of celebrations, a lot of dinners here is what I'm getting. Yeah, a lot of celebrations, a lot of dinners here is what I'm getting. Yeah. They thought this was never going to end, this gravy train. They thought this was never going to end, okay? Like they were going to be toasting to the good life forever. So that's why they're pissed off, okay? Again, this could have been going on for a couple years or a couple decades here, you know? Wow. Will somebody may get prosecuted here because it's a lot of dough, okay? And it's a lot of glasses too. The Empress. Okay, Empress. Somebody could be walking away from an Empress, so this could be like a mother figure here. Okay, yeah, people are walking away from this Empress, so which tells me it's Empress in the reverse because this person is under judgment here, okay? Yeah, and they're going towards their happiness here, okay? So it could be a feminine energy that was abusing their power, okay? Yeah, and they're going towards their happiness here, okay? So it could be a feminine energy that was abusing their power or profiting off of an abuse of power here. Child, you couldn't tell these people shit. Look, I got glasses here. I got 2 cars with glasses here. Flute glasses. I'm hearing we the best. I'm like, what? Somebody was like living the lavish life here, okay? I'm hearing that song, The Fabulous Life. Action. Now somebody's taking action, honey. Excitement and surprises in love. Rapid progress at work. Potential travel for business. High motivation, fast movement of money with cash flowing. Okay, with cash flowing in and out quickly here. Somebody also could have been moving money around here. Stay focused. Yeah, someone's being watched is what I'm picking up on. Watched. Okay. So they're trying to stay focused here. Okay, they're trying to make smart moves here. This could be accounts, because it says with cash. Jeez, you see how I was stuttering over that? With cash flowing in and out quickly here. So somebody was doing something quickly. There was a with the 6 of Pentacles energy here, so quick that you couldn't see it. That's what I'm getting. This person's being watched here. Yeah, passion. Passion and energy in your work, a sudden increase in finances, using money for travel, broadening your horizon. Somebody's looking into this person's finances here, all their transactions, whether it's surrounding work, business, or their personal affairs, home life, all of that's being looked at, okay? Someone got too comfortable here. They got too comfortable here. Somebody was spending a lot of money and it wasn't adding up to what they were supposed to be getting on a surface level here, okay? Someone could be telling this person, oh yeah, to stay focused because we're under the radar here. Good intellect here. Yeah, this person here, they are really really trying to use their head at this time, okay? Wow. So I feel like what's going on is somebody here has to pull back, okay? If this is someone who is like taking things off the top of everybody else's cut, okay, they have to pull back from that. Because with this person being watched, now all of a sudden I'm seeing an influx of abundance come in for you or just everybody, whoever is involved in this situation here, okay? Because it's giving me the energy of a bunch of people sitting around, you know, watching one person eat, even though they're all doing the same job and supposedly they're all on the same pay scale or pay grade here. Good news and abundance is coming in about your passion here, and all eyes are on this other person here that possibly doesn't even have the passion for whatever they're doing, but they've been eating damn good, honey, okay? Somebody's been traveling, taking trips, like somebody goes out to like 5-star, what is it, Michelin rated restaurants here, Michelin star, okay? Somebody's been drinking like $500 bottles of champagne and shit. Good news. It has a lot to do with you staying the course, but they have their eye on this person here, okay? Yeah, follow your path is at the bottom of the deck. So I'm getting the energy where you had to stay the course. You had to remain focused here. Even though there was some, I'm hearing hanky-panky here, there was some corruption going on here, okay? Where you could have been, there was some, I'm hearing hanky-panky here, there was some corruption going on here, okay? Where you could have been getting like the bare minimum is what I'm getting when it comes to finances here, okay? Spreading this, yeah, prosperity, I can't make it up here, and talent. Oh, yes, collective, okay? So, you know, yeah, you followed your path here, and your passion and your talent spoke for itself here, okay? So discipline here, like, it came to a point where discipline here, you know, you showing up every day here, okay? It had to almost overshadow definitely your feelings here, but sometimes even your talent here, okay? Because it's like you weren't being recognized for your talent here, okay? But you knew you still had to show up with the discipline energy. So there is a major shift that's taking place here, okay? Because someone with 10% of the talent as yours and doing half of the work that you've been doing, they've been eating real good because they knew somebody at the top here, okay? And someone's been denying this. Disbelief, refusal of reality here, but this is exactly what's been going on here. This person is pissed off here. Someone's been denying this. Disbelief, refusal of reality here, but this is exactly what's been going on here. This person is pissed off here. This is someone who is a part of a high society and living this high society type lifestyle here, okay? Yes, there's good news coming in, prosperity and abundance, honey, and it's all about your talents and your passion here, okay? Yeah.
Your purpose is fragile before he separates you from people who would hold you to a version of yourself you have already outgrown. He removes you from environments that cannot sustain the anointing he is placing on you. This is where the truth deepens. Sometimes the disappointment you feel is actually protection. Sometimes the absence of support is the way God pushes you into independence, spiritual independence. Sometimes the silence of others is God's way of getting you alone long enough to speak destiny into your bones. Your calling is sacred, spiritual independence. Sometimes the silence of others is God's way of getting you alone long enough to speak destiny into your bones. Your calling is sacred. Your purpose is fragile before it becomes powerful. And God guards it fiercely, even if that means cutting off people you thought would always walk with you. Interpret it as preservation. Step into the separation with trust. Because God is not just protecting you, He is protecting the future He planted inside you. Part 3. When familiarity blinds them to who you truly are. There is a spiritual paradox that wounds many but is understood by few. The people most familiar with you are often the ones who see you the least accurately, not because they are malicious, but because they are trapped in an outdated version of you, a version God outgrew long before you did. And here is the truth, hardly anyone says out loud, familiarity can blind more powerfully than hatred ever could. Jesus himself said, "A prophet is without honor in his own home." But because they were too familiar with Jesus the carpenter to recognize Jesus the Messiah, not because they are malicious, but because they are trapped in an outdated version of you, a version God outgrew long before you did. A prophet is without honor in his own home, not because he lacked power, but because they were too familiar with Jesus the carpenter to recognize Jesus the Messiah. Jesus himself said, "A prophet is without honor in his own home," not because he lacked power, but because they were too familiar with Jesus the carpenter to recognize Jesus the Messiah. Familiarity made them confuse your past with your purpose, your beginnings with your destiny. Here is the first layer of revelation. They see memories, but God sees calling. They see old failures, but God sees new grace. They see your yesterday, but God sees whom you are becoming. Familiarity blinds. The moment God begins to elevate you, it convinces them your transformation is a phase instead of a sign of divine reconstruction. And here is the deeper truth most never confront. When people cannot see you correctly, they will treat you incorrectly. When people cannot see you correctly, they will treat you incorrectly. When people cannot see you correctly, they will treat you incorrectly. When people cannot see you correctly, they will treat you incorrectly. Incorrect expectation, incorrect assumptions, incorrect levels of respect, incorrect ways of speaking to you and speaking about you. But God will not allow their spiritual blindness to drag you back into an outdated identity. He knows you need room to grow, room to be seen the way heaven sees you. Room where your emerging self cannot be distorted by someone else's old perception. When people cannot see you correctly, they will treat you incorrectly. Room where your emerging self cannot be distorted by someone else's old perception. Think of David. To his family, he was just a shepherd boy, but to God, he was a king. Think of Gideon. To his village, he was weak, but to God, he was a mighty warrior. Think of yourself. To some, you are nothing more than who you used to be, but to God, you are everything He is shaping you into. Do not let someone else's limited vision become the limit of your destiny. Because you are no longer who they remember, you are becoming who God ordained. Part 4. God removes you from cycles you can't break while staying close. There is a painful truth almost no one speaks about. Some cycles will never break while you remain close to the people who created them. And here is the paradox of grace. God sometimes removes you from a place, not because you're weak, but because the environment is too strong. But Scripture shows the opposite. God had to pull Israel out of Egypt before He could take Egypt out of their hearts. Healing requires distance. Restoration requires separation. Breakthrough sometimes requires escape. Here is the first revelation few people recognize. You cannot heal in the same atmosphere that wounded you. Breakthrough sometimes requires escape. Here is the first revelation few people recognize. You cannot heal in the same atmosphere that wounded you. Most believers assume transformation happens best in familiar spaces. But Scripture shows the opposite. God had to pull Israel out of Egypt before He could take Egypt out of their hearts. Healing requires distance. Restoration requires separation. Breakthrough sometimes requires escape. Here is the first revelation few people recognize. You cannot heal in the same atmosphere that wounded you. Patterns repeat. Voices replay. Dynamics recreate themselves. Even if you change, the environment doesn't. And eventually, it pulls you back into the version you're trying to leave behind. Restoration requires separation. Breakthrough sometimes requires escape. Here is the first revelation few people recognize. You cannot heal in the same atmosphere that wounded you. Patterns repeat. Voices replay. Dynamics recreate themselves. Even if you change, the environment doesn't, and eventually it pulls you back into the version you're trying to leave behind. Every unresolved cycle becomes a spiritual trap. Apology, hurt, repeat. Promise, disappointment, repeat. Peace, conflict, repeat. The pattern doesn't die, it resets, and you start to think the cycle is normal, when in reality, it's spiritual captivity. He shuts doors you kept trying to reopen. He makes communication difficult so your soul can breathe. He disrupts the rhythm of the relationship so the cycle can no longer continue. Here comes the deeper truth. Cycles survive on proximity. Distance breaks their power, not as punishment, but as rescue. Apology, hurt, repeat. Promise, disappointment, repeat. Peace, conflict, repeat. The pattern doesn't die, it resets. Spiritual captivity. So God intervenes. He distances you, not as punishment, but as rescue. He shuts doors you kept trying to reopen. He makes communication difficult so your soul can breathe. He disrupts the rhythm of the relationship so the cycle can no longer continue. Here comes the deeper truth. Cycles survive on proximity. Distance breaks their power. Distance exposes their roots. Distance gives your spirit what your environment never could: clarity, sobriety, strength. Think of Israel. They would have remained slaves forever if God hadn't forcibly pulled them out. Think of Lot. He would have died in Sodom if God hadn't dragged him out of the city. Think of you. Some of the cycles you're trying to pray through are cycles God is actually trying to pull you out of. And this is where the revelation becomes personal. Sometimes God removes you before you're ready. Sometimes he shuts a relationship down before you understand why. Sometimes he isolates you so you can finally see the pattern for what it is: bondage disguised as loyalty. If God is removing you from a cycle, don't resist the separation, lean into it. Because what feels like loss is actually liberation. What feels like distance is actually deliverance, and what feels like the end is the doorway to the version of you that the cycle never allowed you to become. People. The distance forces you to rely on God, not people. There is a spiritual paradox almost no one talks about. Sometimes God allows people to pull away from you, so you will finally draw closer to him. We assume loneliness is evidence of abandonment, but in heaven's eyes, loneliness is often evidence of training, because some lessons can only be heard clearly when every other voice has gone silent. Here is a truth few dare to face. As long as you rely on people, you will never learn how to rely on God. As long as you seek affirmation from others, you will miss the confirmation that comes from heaven.
I can say that really is the truth. That is true. Ashe. Lord, the two of us need look no more. We both found what we are looking for, with a friend to call my own. I'll never be alone, and you, my Lord, will see I'm faithful to thee. Lord, I used to always run here and there. I was never satisfied anywhere. You broke my heart to isolate me so that you could heal me and speak directly to me and claim me for you. I used to say I am me. Now it's us. Now it's we. I used to say I am me. Now it's us. Now it's we. Lord, I don't run anywhere anymore. I'm content staying home singing hymns, melodies, looking up at the sky amazes me. It makes me think of you, your love for humanity, and your love especially for me. Oh, yeah.